Greetings to you, Maori and Pula. My name is Tike Roy and my student ID is 341 and is on based on the assignment 2. It has been a privilege chance to introduce my presentation entitled Human Development in Socio-cultural. So sit tight and get yourselves comfortable because I'm about to start now. In this slide 2, the human development in socio-cultural means a lot to the Pacific youth, as it is the way of their interaction with Western culture compared to the latest 90s. This first figure describes the main culture of their traditional fishing. The father and the son, their well-known culture of fishing consists of using local fishing equipment, and compared to nowadays, they use modern equipment. The second figures explain the main culture of cutting tortoise shells for their main income and their lower drink, which all of these skills came from their parents as part of human development. So slide 3, the recognition of human development originated from these four shown figures. The first one is the school where children started their learning for education purpose. The second one is described children that live religiously. The third one is about the family where human development forms from where parents taught different skills and cultures until their major ages. The last figures identify that community is one of the four forms of human development which is originated from. These figures here shows that around the community, children can learn in perspective of their surrounding from their elders. Slide 4. Regarding this fourth slide, it mentions Jean Pickett's theory about each of the four stages. Which the first one, the sensory model stage. This is the first stage of human development. That in this stage where children utilize skills and abilities they were born with to learn more about the environment. The second stage is the pre-operational stage. It is the second stage of child development that occurred at the age of 2 to 7 ages. This stages is where child's development could use some symbols and signs in presence of their discoveries. Also in these stages, a child started to develop his or her knowledge. Like in my country, back in Kiribati, a child can say a particular word, tata or papa, which means daddy. The third one is the concrete operational stages. This stage is the age of 7 to 11 years when a child will become more focused and logical compared to the pre-operational stages. These stages describe a child that attends his or school, which he or she more familiarizes themselves with the environment and knows different things as they differentiate them. The fourth one is the formal operational stage. The last fourth stage of a child development happens around the age of 11 and above, according to Pickett's ideas of the child's ability to think in abstract ways. This stage is in which a child can move to an advanced level of development, and so he or she interacts socially and also matures the skills he or she has in his own life. Concerning my country, Griffith's Pickett theory had much more different child development in Griffiths. It is not practiced in Griffiths. Children in the age of 1 were sent to kindergarten schools while the purpose of sending them to school because they have to familiarize themselves with school stuff of their ages. But back in Griffiths, it is very different. Pickett theory is not applied there. At the age of 7, they must attend school. Slide 5, I will describe these three looks theory. The first one is the blank slates. It is believed in this idea that children are born as blank slates. During this time, the child development is not yet ready to be formed by their parents. It is being described as a tabla, rasa, or packing. It is like a cloth that used for designing and still complete a pattern on that particular picture or any ugly one. The process of this being compared to the child development that cannot be ready to function but waiting to be absorbed. The second one is the modality before act. This idea of log is mentioned the child development that before a child can fully understand that the fact he or she learned, they or must be how to taught other lessons like. For example, Locke believes that a child may need a strong concept of moral value such as respect, loving one another, and helping one another before learning subtraction and addition. He recommends that those first years, early lesson would start to make the child eventual sense of being and personality. A long-term research mentioned that child development was okay from the morals or is being taught values and rituals would grow up to be a strong and primary adults. This idea explained that children could learn in patterns such as in ways they taught such as garbage in, garbage out. This clarified that Locke's idea stated that if a child watched and is taught this immoral behavior, definitely he or she will follow this particular pattern. For style 6, John Locke is an English philosopher and apological theorist born in England in the year 1632. His theory based on child development, which is related to human development. He dies in 1974 and was later recognized as the founder of the British empiricism, as well as the author of the first systematic exposition. Jean Piaget was a famous Swiss physiologist that born on August 9 in 1896. His theory believed that four stages in child development have been discussed in theory 4 in slide 4. Slide 7. Human development in my context is where a group of people interact in their society. As mentioned in slide 2, human development consists of learning, cultures, and other traditions. For example, in Oedipus, the father's responsibility is to teach his own son every tradition and skill such as cutting, torting, fishing, building houses, and maintaining our culture, not to practice the Western culture, where all of the skills should be passed from one generation to another. The mother's responsibility is to teach all of the skills of the girls to his daughters, such as weaving mats from bandanas leaves, cooking, and to respect a husband. Western culture is now being practiced in our country. It depends where most of the youth are being practiced to rob, murder, violence, and so forth. This bad behavior comes from the human development depend on their society. In this slide 8, recent perspectives found on human development are found to have an impact on research on families, schools, and relationships. These impacts are referenced and compared with recent issues such as gender, religion, and more. The first one is behavioral. This perspective focuses on all lens behaviors of a child. It is very different from other perspective, as it focuses more on behaviors that are observable than one emphasizing in general state. The second one is the cognitive way, a perspective that focuses on the mental health and processes of a child, such as thinking, memory, problem solving, and language. Theorists Jean Piaget and Albert Bandura founded this perspective. The third one is biological. It is recently known or physiological or biophysiological. In this perspective, researchers look at how genetics affects behavior, brain, the immune system, nervous, and endocrine system are also very interested in this perspective. The other one is the humanistic. This is a positive perspective as it focuses on helping people live a happier and healthier lifestyle, since it mainly emphasized on the acts and role of motivation. And the last one is physical dynamic. The physicality view of this perspective focuses and emphasizes on the role of an unconscious mind in the early childhood experience. That's all from me, and thank you all for your time.